Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show into the apps that people like to listen to, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts? How do we make money from our podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So, if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Everything fucking sucks, but not champagne.
The Hit Team Productions. MCF Beats.
Hey, we're in the building.
What is happening, peoples?
I am sweating like a hooker in church.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that, so.
Well, because I don't go to church.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay. All right, right on.
It's fucking hot. Jesus.
It is. I turned the AC down, too, and it's not kicking in, so.
So today, Alton and I have some company.
Yes, we have special guests.
I mean, damn, I don't know about special, like short bus special.
Damn. Okay.
Yo, you remember that, right? Back in the day?
Yes.
If you took special education, they put you in the fucking short cheddar bus. That was so fucked
The
up.
short cheddar bus.
Well, you knew if the short cheddar bus came down the street, it was that they were picking up somebody who was in special education. It fucking sucked.
Something was wrong.
I rode that bus. What are you talking about?
Ooh.
You did?
No.
Oh. I was like,
Damn.
that's awesome. Tell me more about that.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
So, who do we have in the building? We have my beautiful, lovely, very soft-spoken homie, Brandi.
Hey.
Hi, Brandi. And way back in the background is Brandi's beautiful, not as soft-spoken girlfriend, Stephanie. Hey. Alton, I'll let you introduce your friend because we're new friends.
Oh, okay. All friends are all friends.
That's right. So I just want you to give him a proper intro.
Right on. So I've known this person for, yeah, do you like that, huh? Yeah. I've known this person for, I would say, 12 years. 10, 12, somewhere around there?
We must have met in about 2004.
Four? Oh, so maybe a little more, yeah.
God damn.
'Cause I met you pretty early on.
Yeah.
Y'all old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alton is friends with my ex-wife.
Yes.
That's how we met.
Yeah, exactly. So, Keith, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And
Good to be here.
Welcome to you both.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to make this very, very simple. And so you might have noticed Alton's quick pause over there. And here's where we're going. Ready? I'll start. Hi, I'm Lori. I'm straight. Yeah, contrary to popular opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nobody believes me when I say I'm straight.
So many women hit on you.
I
That's
never
crazy.
knew that.
Oh my God, I get hit on by women all the time. If I was into chicks, I'd be the popular bitch on the block. And I might have even been a hoe at some point. Totally let the hoe boat sail.
What did you say I might have been?
What do you mean?
Girls,
I wasn't
boys?
a hoe.
Never?
No, I never went through a hoe phase. It's really fucking boring. In retrospect, it's one of my few regrets.
Oh.
I think almost everyone needs to go through a little hoe phase.
You ain't dead yet, girl. Come on.
Bitch, I'm 106. Hey, Kay, you're up.
Hi, my name is Alton. I'm straight.
All right, so that leads into the question here.
I had a hoe phase, I think. So, okay,
Yeah, I had 9 of them.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So to our guests, when you introduce yourselves, you want to tell me where you personally identify on the LGBTQ spectrum. And if you have pronouns that you prefer, now's the time to speak them out loud to the universe.
Because not only is it to the universe, it's to us here.
Correct.
I am looking to get more educated. I am a totally open person. I love people for who they are.
We've heard
and
that
that's
about
it.
him.
Girl, you better stop. But I'm just saying. I love people for who they are. And I'm looking at this as an educational thing for myself, so.
Yeah, because it's no longer like once upon a time it was like, hi, I'm straight, right? Hi, I'm gay. That's not where we're at anymore.
No, not
And
at
now
all.
we've opened the door to sexuality and gender being two completely different things. And so it's time to have that conversation and normalize it so that people are not afraid, right? That's the first and foremost thing. You don't want people to be afraid because I think a lot of the time ignorance is bred out of fear. It's like, I don't understand this.
Right.
So, ew, I'm going to put it over there, right? So let's take that out of it, number one. And number two, when you talk about things, you make them more normal. And that's the space we're all looking to get to. It should be normal to sit down with your friends and not everybody at your table checks the same fucking box.
Exactly.
Right? I don't hang out with Brandi and go, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my gay friend now. It
Right.
doesn't happen that way. I don't go hang out with Alton and be like, that's my black homie. That's not what you do.
He's more like black
Black.
or blight.
Yeah, I'm blight.
or whack.
Oh, and here's
Damn,
the homies. Okay, so I didn't let
the
you answer the
whack.
question. So Brandi, go
Okay.
for it, mama.
So, my name is Brandi, and I definitely identify as lesbian.
And friend over here.
My name is Keith. I identify as pansexual.
And what exactly is pansexual, Keith?
So think of bisexual. Okay.
Hot.
All right.
Agreed. Bisexual assumes 2 genders. Bi, 2, 1, 2.
Right.
Pan sees a spectrum. So think about it as a more, I don't know, evolved bisexual that just totally like sound like I was tooting my own horn, which is not it.
No.
It's just the terms have evolved, concepts have evolved, and the identifications of people and everything have evolved. Thankfully.
So I would think that my interpretation of a pansexual is a person who's not attracted to necessarily what's sitting between someone's legs as opposed to what may be between their ears or their heart.
What's between their legs isn't bad either.
Right. I mean, that matters. Right. But when we
Don't
identify our
discount the part
sexuality, when we identify our sexuality solely by I like dick or I like pussy, it's almost like you it's finite. You close off a certain amount, and some people don't just see that.
I like dussy.
Oh, hey.
That's a good one.
I haven't heard that one before. Oh,
either.
okay. I need to get my pen and paper, and I got to start writing all these down.
I was telling Alton earlier, I've always been a person who is very open to anybody, any, religious, creed, gender, whatever you identify as, I'm good with. If you're good, I'm better, I'm happy for you. But for years, it was, an open acceptance of people being gay. And then as we've all evolved, I remember when my twins were really, really little, it was time to dress my girls, and my oldest twin was like, I don't want to wear that today because today I'm a boy. And I was like, cool, wear what the hell you want, right? Because it was not, okay. Yeah. And so she's like, I want to wear this color. And I was like, cool, wear what you want. And then, it progressed, and then she's moving into a higher grade of school, and I come to find out that she is being known in school by a boy name. Like, her friends talk to her and they refer to her in this other name. And for a while, I still battle with the fact that she gets called by this name. And I'm going to go ahead and be the first person to tell you it's hubris. It's ego. Like, well, I chose that name for you, right? Like, you were born and assigned all this stuff. Who the fuck am I to just decide that's what you should be with? But like, for me, it's not I gave you the name. It's I spent time researching. You were born prematurely. You were part of a set of twins, and you were in the NICU for 2 months. So when I chose her name, I chose it based on that experience. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand that.
No.
She just wants to be identified with what she's feeling that day. Mm-hmm. So when she hit high school and she had the verbiage, she came to me and she said, we were eating dinner one day, and she's like, Mom, I like girls too. And I was like, cool, pass the salt, right? And she's like, cool. And she starts eating. And her twin sister's like, that might have been the simplest coming out party there ever was. Like, nobody even flinched. But then she got a little older and she said, Mom, I'm a gender fluid. And I was like, what in the fuck is that?
Yes.
Right? Because I didn't know.
What year are we talking here?
I'm going to say 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's relatively recent.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so the words that she was using as a child might not have been, Mom, I want to change my gender. They might not have been, Mom, I want to be a boy forever. But the fact that, and in fairness, let me not give myself any credits for being some sort of like superhero who was like,
Oh, but you are.
No, I was not so evolved that I was like, oh, sweetheart, if you want to, it wasn't like that. It was just like, it's okay, dress like a boy if that's what you want to dress like, right? Like, I don't give a fuck. But her being able to express that and it not being a thing gave her the permissions as she got older to explore those other things and talk to me about them when it was time.
And to ultimately be who she wants to be.
And be who she wants to be.
How old is she now?
23.
Okay, so she's among that generation that's much more woke to that kind of thing.
Way more woke to
And
it.
does your daughter have preferred pronouns?
At home with me, she always uses girl.
Okay.
It's always she, her. I don't know that she's ever assigned them elsewhere, but I do know that she goes by a boy name in general when she's at school, and that is how she's referred to. And it's funny because, like her Facebook profile and all these other things, they come up as boy. And so I'm kind of like waiting for her to, is there some other, but she's repeatedly dated boys. She dated a girl for like 2 seconds and she's like, oh, women are so fucking stupid, Mom. I can't deal with it. And I was like, you might be straighter than you think, kid. So pansexual, non-binary. These are new terms we're using now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to find out. So when Alton went to introduce Keith, there was a pause because he wasn't 100% sure, right? If Keith had preferred pronouns, and we wanted to ask and learn. That's the goal here, is that we're all learning together.
Well, I will say we had a quick text conversation.
Did you have a sidebar?
Earlier today.
Well, earlier today, and I made a comment, and his response was pretty clear what he said, and we kind of both laughed at it.
Cool.
And so that's why I kind of just caught myself as I was going to introduce him, and that's all that was. So
I love it though. I
He
love
said,
too.
yes, sir. And I was like, sir, we'll be talking about that tonight.
and he goes, there will be one sir there, or something like that.
But you know what? Alton's a straight man, and Alton is not in the 20-something-year-old generation, right? And
Oh, Alton's an old fart.
Yeah, I am.
and so it's really refreshing to see a man who has no issue with the fact that he has had a friend who's had a change in his life, or maybe it was always that way, and you were just becoming more aware of the change in Keith's life. But there was never like I got this friend, and it's just, it is what it is. Keith is Keith, and we talk about football is what I hear almost all the time, right? Sports.
It's what we talk about. We're both diehard football fans, and he's a 49er fan. I'm a Rams fan, so they hate each other.
Oh.
And we hate each other.
Okay.
Right now,
okay.
I'm passing so much hatred across this table. You can feel it, right?
And so whenever we end up playing each other, he's texting me or
Shit
something.
talking?
Yeah, saying
Yeah.
something, or giving some props. That's the one thing I've always appreciated about Keith. It's never... He's always fair.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
It's all in fun, so
Good.
So, yeah.
So did either of you have a coming out situation? Did you come out to your family? Was it what it was? And you don't have to answer if you don't.
I did.
You did?
I told my mom first because she was the one that I was most concerned with. I was scared to tell her.
Brandy's mama was like old school traditional British lady.
She is.
Accent and everything.
And I
Okay.
waited until Thanksgiving Day to tell her.
Oh, okay.
Right before dinner.
Oh, giving
Oh.
thanks.
Because I could not keep it in anymore. I was like, Mom, I need to talk to you. And she's outside smoking. And I just went out and sat on the porch with her. And everybody was inside. Nobody knew what was going on because I was supposed to tell her like later. Well, I out with it. And she's like sitting there. She's
You're like, funny, you should say out with it.
she goes, well, she said,
how
she
old
looks
were
at
you?
me. She goes, well, this was in 2007.
Bitch, I don't know that math. How old were you?
I don't know. It's
She was
2019. So, yeah. So, anyways.
Were you in your 20s and your 30s?
Early 30s.
Early
Yeah.
30s.
So I think I was 31 actually. But I just was like sitting there and I'm looking at her. I was like, Mom. She's like, what? I was like, Mom, I'm gay. And she's like, what? And then she goes, what do you mean? She goes, you are married to a man. And I was like, I know. But Mom, I was like, remember how you kept telling me something was wrong? I was like, I kissed a girl, and guess what?
I figured it out.
And you liked it. I was like, I had the house, I had the car, I had the dog, I had the kids, I had the job, I had everything that I thought I wanted in life. But there was something missing, and she kept telling me, you're not happy. And I, in my right mind, thought I was happy. And so when I told her, and she's like, well, I don't care. She goes, are you happy? I was like, I am. She goes, well, that's all that I care about. She goes,
That's awesome.
So what do you want to do? And I was like,
Fuck
nothing.
women.
I just wanted to tell you. And she's like, I don't care what you do. She goes, I knew you weren't happy. She goes, as long as you're happy now. She goes, you seem like you're happy. And I was like, I am. And I was like, she was just like, okay. So then when my friend comes out the door, she notices that there's this thing
Like a
going on.
heavy
So she
conversation.
turns around and goes back in the door. And then all of a sudden everybody starts coming out. She's like trying
Oh,
to
my
save
Lord.
me.
Oh, my God.
You know? And my mom was like, did you know my daughter's gay?
What is it with like big meals? Everyone's sitting down gathering, and all of a sudden there's like confession sessions.
Yeah.
Like, hey mom, I'm bisexual. Hey mom, it's Thanksgiving. I'm gay.
I was stressing out so bad. So I don't know. I just have this thing where I just had to blurt it out. And I was like, it didn't go how I had planned it, because I had planned how this whole thing was going to happen. And
You
it
had
just-
all the answers ready.
Yeah,
So when
and-
she said this,
Yeah,
I'll
did
say
not.
that.
She was like, I don't care. She goes, are you happy? I was like, yeah. And she's never bad an eye since. Every once in a while, she kind of would be like, it's funny because she didn't have a problem with the fact that I was gay, but she did not understand the happily ever after without a man. That's
but
the part in her
that's
head
that traditional,
she could not grasp.
Okay.
non-conforming
Yeah.
thing that so many people. I get that all the time
Very
when I
much.
say I've never been married and have no interest. People are like, in fact, when we were outside, first thing this person's like, "Oh, you should move in with this person." I was like, "No, like we're good.
I was like, it's a ball.
We don't need the moving in thing." But it's
Yeah.
it's a bubbles.
I think that dog farted. That dog farted.
Wait, that was me. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't
That was
me.
not you.
It wasn't me.
Yo.
That was the dog.
Oh, that dog stars on every podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh, you're
my
just now
God.
smelling that?
My brows are sweating.
I'm a girl.
Yo, keep your mouths closed.
Oh, yeah.
You can taste that shit.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Well, now
Look at the top. Sit down there looking
Wow.
down. Bro, you ain't ashamed.
I'm telling you, you
Bubs.
will literally look for a steaming pile when she does
Oh,
it,
tell me
because
about
she reeks that badly.
She looks kind of proud right now. Like she's working the room.
If you can drop a smell like that and not shit yourself, you should be proud. That is some serious sphincter control.
Wow.
So, Brandi, did you always know you were gay?
So looking back, I was always attracted to women. I always was. Like, I had the hugest crush on my fourth grade teacher, like ridiculous.
Really?
Like, I used to go and see her during lunch, before school, after school, all the time. And but I always had these crushes through my life. But it's funny so it's funny people ask, well, did you have a crush on me? I'm like, no, it wasn't everybody.
That is so
It
weird.
was
That's such a bizarre
certain
question.
People. It was certain people. And I don't know what it was about those people, but there were certain people that throughout my life, I was like, so I look back. I remember when my friend told me she thought I was gay. I was like, what? I'm married. What are you talking about?
I have a husband.
Yeah, I was like, I'm totally cool. She's like, no, girl, you're so gay. I
So
was
did
like,
you
"What?"
tell him you were gay before or after?
So I did. I came home one night because we used to commute to and from San Ramon for work.
Ew.
Oh.
And the girls would be hooting and hollering about these guys out the window, and I'm like, oh, he's cute. I see a gay boy. I'm like, look at his tie. He's so cute. Oh my god. I'd be all over it, right? But we see a girl. We'd be out at happy hour, but bending over.
Neck break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking. Yep. I'm like, look at her boobs. Look at her boobs. But I used to do that with my husband at the time too,
And he was cool with
And
it.
I thought it was normal. Like we both like
You guys were
appreciated
trolling
beautiful women.
bitches together.
Yes, we did. So come to find out, my friend's like, you're so gay. I was like, I'm married. I don't know what you're talking about. So I go home drunk one night. I'm like, hey. I come
Oh,
home.
shit.
I'm like, hey, babe. He's like, what? I'm like, do you think I'm gay? And he's like, what? He goes, we're married. I was like, I know, right? And he goes, you're drunk, go to bed. And I was like, and I'm walking down the hall, and he goes, well, why did you say that? I go, because I'm not attracted to other men. And he goes, you don't have to tell me that to make me feel better. And
Wait,
I
is
go,
he gay?
No.
Totally
no,
straight.
I wasn't attracted to
No,
other
no, no.
men.
I'm just saying, maybe he was an effeminate man, and maybe
No.
okay.
So I asked him. He goes, "Well, you don't have to tell me that to make me feel better." I go, "I'm not. I'm concerned. Like I see women, and I'm like, but I see other men. And I'm like, yeah, he's okay. I just wasn't attracted to other men. It was only him. really.
Interesting. That's so crazy.
But I think because we met so young, I met him really young.
Okay. Keith, you got a story you want to share? Did we have a big
like a
coming
life
out?
How
story?
much time is this podcast?
Damn.
Are we talking about gender identity? We're talking about sexual orientation.
Totally up to you. Whatever you want to share.
Both.
So
Okay, they're demanding.
Nutshell. How can I slam this into a nutshell? That was very sexual
You haven't
sounding.
slammed things into. Never mind. Never mind.
I love it.
It goes left. It goes left.
I think we're gonna be friends.
I remember being as young as 5 years old and always wanting to play in girls' clothes and makeup, and there was always something there. And then there was always with young boys, I was raised by just a single mom.
Okay.
No brothers, no sisters, just that was it. So I always had this self-consciousness that I wasn't masculine enough, and I was never going to be masculine enough.
Huh.
And so I did everything I could to be
A man.
a man, including hanging out with the bros in high school and being fucking mean to each other and like fuck you faggot and all those words, right?
God,
Oh,
man.
stupid.
What is it with high school kids and that word?
Horrible. Knowing it was wrong,
Right.
did it anyway.
Right.
I would accumulate women's clothes, makeup, wigs. Look at myself in the mirror, get all dressed up, and be like, "Oh, I'm so pretty. I love this." And
I mean,
then-
may I just say you are very pretty?
thank you. Have you
Yeah.
seen pictures?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes,
saw your
I-
profile
I-
photo. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you are very pretty.
Thank you. And I would look in the mirror and be like, "Oh, this is like another side of me that's totally legit and authentic." And then once it got to like puberty phase, it would be like jerking off, to that TMI. I don't think there's such thing as TMI in this.
ain't no
this
TMI
podcast,
here.
right?
Yeah.
Nah, we're straight.
The hosts are definitely straight,
Wow. Okay.
followed by horrible shame, and then the cycle continues. So
Why did you feel shame?
because I because I always wanted to have a wife and kids and the white picket fence in the home.
Yes.
And
Man, this sounds so
that-
familiar.
Yes.
That
Y'all drank from
was
that
something
Kool-Aid.
inconsistent with that. It was something that would hinder that or
Absolutely.
not. Yes, right?
Yes. You wanted that.
I wanted to be, quote, normal.
Well, no, it was the whole what we've been raised to that was goals.
There's that
and
fucking
if
social
you
construct
could
again.
live
Gross.
in that, and that was what was supposed to make you happy, but it doesn't fit in that box.
No.
But it does
unfortunately.
make you happy. That's the crazy thing.
It-
Your babies make you happy.
Oh, my babies
Absolutely.
did.
Your partner at some point, even if they didn't fulfill everything, which I think is a completely fucking foolish thing to think that your partner fulfills every single fucking space and box
No
inside of you
partner.
checks.
No.
No one does.
If they can do 75%, that's doing pretty good.
So that's my point, is that, even though you guys were living a life that some parts of it weren't true to your real true selves, that doesn't take away from the good times that were had in the marriages, the
Absolutely.
families that you created, the ideas of what you wanted. But what would have happened if both your partners let you live that other side of you freely?
Mine would have.
Would
Mine
you have,
did.
Oh, you what? And neither
ahead.
of you stayed.
No. I didn't want to be with men anymore. I realized I was in love with him.
Damn it.
Sorry. I was in love with him, growing up when I was younger. I had fallen out of love with him, and I just wanted to be with women. The thing that held me back is I didn't want to subject my kids
To being a big old flaming homo?
to having to go through that scrutiny. That was my concern.
I gotcha. So, Keith, I cut you off when you were telling me. So you had all the shame.
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually got to a point when I went off to college. So I grew up in Fresno, which is a shithole of conservatism and homophobia, transphobia. And if you don't have a big-ass pickup truck, vote Republican.
And wear your
wave
red
the
hat.
flag, wear your fucking red hat, and go to church every Sunday and talk shit about Colin Kaepernick, then you ain't shit.
For like a second, I was like, who? It took me a second.
Yeah.
No, I know who it is, but I just didn't process it right away.
Yeah.
So, once I moved out of there, I moved up to Davis to go to college. It was like, this is not going away. There are other people, met other people. That was like the introduction of the internet with AOL, chat rooms, like dial-up modem.
Yep.
Oh my God,
Chat
there's other
rooms
people out
opened
there.
this crazy world to us. There was just access to so much that's different.
Yep. Big time.
Swapping pictures. Oh my God.
I wasn't sure what he was swapping for a
Oh,
second.
I know.
That came later. No, and I eventually got married, I met this girl in 2004 who I met Alton through. I had an online profile, female.
Oh,
she and I were both on Match.com talking to the same guy.
Hey.
And
Stop
he
it.
apparently showed her my profile page and said, "Oh, there's this girl that I know, and it's really a dude. Isn't that funny? Check out this profile." He's like total broski, right? Yeah.
I've never heard this story.
Oh, because we had the real story, and we had the story that we would tell
Told
everybody.
everybody,
Yeah,
yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she knew since day one. So she messaged me out of nowhere and was like, "Oh yeah, this guy Brock that we're talking to."
Oh,
or that
fuck.
I'm
His
talking
name
to."
was Brock, really?
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were in for with a dude named Brock. Come on.
She never met him in person. I never met him in person. But we met each other. She messaged me and she's like, "Oh, you're really beautiful. Thank you." I was like, "Are you?" Back then, the term was GG, genetic girl.
Oh, okay.
Now it's cis.
See the shit we're learning?
I know.
Cis is somebody who's not trans.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody who was born into the gender that they're assigned and lives as that.
Yeah.
Essentially?
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially, yeah. And so I thought she was hot, and I was like, "Oh," and she was kind of spunky, you know. And
Spicy girls.
Spicy, yeah. And we went out and fell in love, and eventually got married. And she was all on board. She would buy me makeup and stilettos and wigs, and
Oh my God, I fucking
I
love
love
this.
paint
that.
me.
Are you
We'd
serious?
have threesomes
That's
and
awesome.
fucking open
Can I ask
relationship.
who we had threesomes with?
You
what?
name it,
Oh, fuck yeah.
as long as they were hot.
Really?
Yeah, we don't do ugly.
I don't blame you. No judgment there.
And then she eventually got to a point where she wanted to be a normal couple, didn't want to do the lifestyle anymore, and wanted a quote real man. And
Oh, wait, you weren't a real man all that time?
I apparently not. Well, I mean, I don't identify as a man now.
Okay.
Gender fluid, just
Okay.
like your you're just like your daughter.
My daughter.
Yeah.
She still lets me use daughter and she, so that's what we're going to go with because until she tells me otherwise, that's where I'll stay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're a superhero. You
Have
really
my
are.
moments. Have my moments. I'm a work in progress. I mean, like I said, all of this stuff is so new. I love that we have the ability to say, you know, how do you identify? You know, when we opened up the gym, we very quickly decided we were going to have non-gender bathrooms. And it was so funny to me when we
So
ordered those
validating.
signs. We ordered those signs and California was like, you don't need to have those yet. The law has passed, but you don't have to do it yet. We were like, okay. And they charged us, what, $119 a sign?
Yeah,
Are
it
you
was something
serious?
So
so
were they more expensive
Male
than the
and
gendered?
female signs are like 47 cents at Home Depot.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
But if you want to get an all gender bathroom,
Oh, yeah.
the sign was like $120 each.
And we're
Real
talking a
talk.
one-seater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not talking about stalls.
no,
Nope.
no, one seater. Yep.
Right?
That's ridiculous.
It was important to me. I was like, I want to make sure that from day one, this space is safe to anyone who wants to come in. I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're non-binary. I don't care if you're fat. I don't care if you're skinny. I don't care. I want this to be a place that when you come in to exercise, you feel like you're welcomed, wanted, and whatever it is that you are is validated. And so then we tried to order the damn signs, and I was like, what the fuck?
What about Republicans, though? Did you let them in?
You know, we got to let them in.
Yeah.
And you know
their
why?
money does spend the same.
You know why we got to let them in? Because Republicans are entitled to their fucking opinions just like we are. They're entitled to their beliefs just like we are. Where the trouble happens now is when people think that their rights supersede other people's rights. Exactly. You can believe in your social construct of a traditional family, and I say traditional because that's still what the standard is, if you will. You want to have a husband, you want to have a wife, you want to have your 2 children, you want to have your white picket fence, go for it. But if the person who moves in next door to you wants to have a husband and a wife and 2 black babies, and they want to have a peacock in their fucking yard, who the fuck are you
Bam.
to say that? To say that they can't have that, and they want to go outside and have pagan rituals. That is up to them. I have no problem with you being my neighbor as long as you don't make fucking noise past 9 o'clock.
Pretty simple.
Oh, I
not
cannot
that
be your
hard.
neighbor.
Yeah, pretty
But
simple.
they might not be able to make cakes for you because it's against their religion.
Jesus would have made the fucking cake. And I don't even fucking subscribe to Jesus, but I know how to fucking read the books, okay? And it says that he hung out with the fucking fucked up people, the poor, the broken, the people nobody else wanted.
True.
So if you subscribe to your own fucking book, follow it.
Nah, we can't do that.
That would be
stand
too
that
easy.
I know lots of Republicans who are wonderful people, and until they start
Yes.
to tell me any fucking thing about how somebody deserves less than them, I will listen. I'll give you the full ear. But as soon as your right supersedes someone else's, that's where I have a problem with
I
you.
think a lot of their opinions are shaped by their own privileges. White, Christian, often male, cis, heterosexual, and they feel like things are being taken away from them.
That's right.
Like, oh, well, now we're allowing Muslims into Congress. Now we're blah, blah, blah. Brown people are everywhere. And why don't we have a straight parade? Why do we have to have a gay parade?
Did you know that there was going to be a straight parade here?
I would rather not try to.
It is
Makes me so angry.
jarring to me that this is still a thing.
It's still a fucking thing.
But if you're open-minded, though, you can talk to those people and you can change your mind. Like, I actually have changed my mind about the Second Amendment completely.
Uh-oh.
Really?
I have. And it was from a conversation with a Republican. And I never thought that you would be able to change my mind.
All right.
But I
You
did.
want to?
But if you are open-minded.
Did this Republican have a musket?
No, it's actually a guy. It was a coworker of mine. So we talked about, because, everybody talks about guns and, people are going to get whatever they're going to get, however they're going to get it, just like drugs. Like, drugs are illegal. You can get them wherever. It's all about your intent. And he was like, so he goes, say you decide that you're going to go onto a campus and it says no guns. Who's going to listen to that? And I was like, well, I would. He goes, do you think a bad guy's going to look at the sign and go, oh, well, I can't bring my gun to this campus?
Define bad guy.
Well, somebody that wants to do harm to the kids.
Okay.
And so I thought about it and I was like, well, no. And we talked about it and we debated and I was about, the clips and how quickly you can turn a gun that's legal into one that's not.
Fully automatic.
It is very quick. He was like, but who's going to stop that person? Who's going to stop that person from harming other people? It's going to be the good guy with a gun.
Oh.
And for me,
Disagree.
For me,
I can't.
But just look at what happened at the Gilroy Garlic Festival.
Okay.
That was
That
a
guy
one-off.
was taken down really quickly.
I just meant for you to get closer.
So the argument about like arming
Yo,
the
this
good
took
guys,
a sharp shit, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Come on, we about to go down.
Here we go. Throwing punches.
It-
You
it-
got boxing gloves?
Wait a minute.
I'm
While
over here
you two talk,
flexing.
does anybody want a drink refill? I'll pop off and grab one.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
Okay, beer.
Please.
Yeah,
The
something.
nectar.
I got you.
Yeah, whatever.
Hannibal
All right.
nectar.
Hannibal nectar.
Have the
Yeah,
fight. I'm listening.
Double IPA.
So, if somebody walks into a school, a church, a concert, blah blah blah, Gilroy Garlic Festival, and they have an assault rifle, so they're firing off rounds with just holding their finger back, and it's just mowing down people. And there are quote good guys with guns, such as teachers, which is the thing
Yeah.
I have the biggest problem with.
Yeah.
And they're increasing the lines of fire. That's not making things safer. There's bullets coming from all directions then.
That hasn't happened yet, though. For me, it was about the Gilroy Garlic Festival. It was one of the scenarios that I could think that was legitimately the guy came in, and yes, look at how many people he injured in just that short of time. Imagine if somebody was not there that had a gun.
But that's law enforcement.
It was security. It was hired security.
Correct.
But same thing. I feel like hired
it
security is the
wasn't-
same as people who legitimately have been trained to use guns in a proper manner. But I do believe that every gun should be vetted. But you could take any gun.
You mean every person?
Yeah,
should
every
be vetted.
person should be vetted.
Correct.
But you can take any gun and make it illegal. But have we stopped the heroin addicts from doing heroin? No, I don't think you're ever going to get guns off our streets now.
Well, I don't think that is the drive. I don't think the drive is to get every gun off the street. I think they have tried to limit basically the capacity and limit the full auto ability of a weapon.
Oh, definitely. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Which, and the right to own a gun, everyone should have that right. I don't take that away from anyone. I own guns.
Yeah.
I love guns.
I'm scared of them.
I have no problem with guns, right? But what I do have a problem with is hearing that they want to arm and train school teachers
I don't agree with that.
to have a gun. School teachers have a job to teach. They have a
Absolutely.
job to teach, to foster, to love kids, not to carry a damn gun.
I agree.
When I hear it, I just shake my damn head, and I'm like, who in the fuck is thinking about this stuff? Who is coming up with this and going, I think the answer is to put guns in all of the teachers' hands?
I don't agree with that either.
You know?
But I believe that if you have parents that are armed that just happen to be carrying weapons, they're going to protect their kids. And I always believe that that's a good thing.
Okay, I think we've gotten way off
We've gotten
subject.
way off.
We need to pour more liquor.
I'll let you have the rest of that.
What is it? Oh, thank you for the margarita. Oh, hey.
How did we
There we
get
go.
on that anyways?
Huh?
What did I say that got us on that?
I don't remember.
Changing Republicans' positions, if you will. Their positions. It's missionary.
Doggy style.
Republicans are probably some dirty ass motherfuckers more than all closeted out with all that
They
shit
are.
With the
stuffed
gimp.
down. They're not doing just missionary.
Right?
They're doing hotel room style fucking double anal.
Woo. Okay.
Oh, shit.
This took a sharp left.
I need some water.
I'm back.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to play a quick word association with you.
Man, we there is a whole round of drinks that just got poured right now.
I think your fucking dog farted again.
Oh, I did.
Oh no, it's on that side of the
Jeez.
table.
Jesus Christ.
It's gonna take a while.
Bubbles.
Oh,
Hey
there it
y'all.
is.
For all of you who are maybe joining us in the last few episodes or couple episodes, somebody's phone is on.
That's yours, homie. It went through the speaker.
Hey, Alton, I noticed you have a Dodgers hat hanging up over there. Have you gotten help for that?
Oh man, you gonna talk about my Dodgers? Don't tell me you're. Wait a second.
I'm actually not much of a baseball fan, but when the Giants are in the playoffs, I watch. I'm
Hey,
fair
while,
weather.
While everybody's got a beverage, do you want anything else? Do you want a
No, I
wine or
don't want
anything?
water.
Are we cheersing?
Cheers. Yeah, let's have a cheers.
And then we're slamming
cheers
our drinks.
to grown-up conversations and differing opinions and lifestyles and still being able to be fucking
Yeah.
adults.
Tell me what you think about that, Keith.
About what?
That beer.
This beer is.
Isn't it good?
It's like I just came into a glass,
Fuck yeah.
and so did everybody
Swish,
else
swish.
in the world. And then somebody threw some hops in.
Wow.
Maybe I should try that shit.
Oh my. Oh my. Alton, before I go into the word association, did you have, I know that for this particular episode, your experience might be just a little less, you probably just have a little less of your own personal experiences with it, but anything you wanted to say, contribute anything in there?
You saying he's less than woke?
No, not at
no,
all.
no.
Not at
Just
all.
No,
I'm actually, I'm really proud of a lot of the growth I've seen in Alton since I've met him. Not that he was in any way, shape, or form a person who was bigoted or any of those things, but
No.
it's just nice to see some of the, little minor evolving things that happen, because let's keep it real. Straight men have very fragile masculinity most of the time.
Yes.
And and that is not the case with Alton, and it's one of the things about him that I admire a lot.
Lori and I, story that's been told many times. Lori and I met. We did not like each other one bit. I mean, just we were on opposite ends of the table. It just and
As you are now.
yeah, exactly. And she said something to me. We were discussing children and parenting, and she made a comment that really struck home with me. And so I'm like, okay,
I wasn't just a bitch anymore.
no. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the air
Are you
conditioner,
having
man.
a
I'm
hot
sorry.
flash, honey?
Not that age.
And so, anyways, then we became, really good friends, and eventually
Business
started
partners.
doing our thing,
Yeah.
business and all that good stuff.
Some things.
So
So anyway, did you have
So-
anything you wanted to jump in there with?
no, I mean, I'm just loving the
Listening
conversation.
and
Yeah,
learning?
I'm just listening and learning.
Okay.
Straight up.
All right. So here's word association.
Who goes first?
I'm just gonna say it. You tell me your feeling.
They're pointing at each
If
other.
you have
y'all.
a feeling. This one's easy.
Okay.
Bruce Jenner,
Fake.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Republican.
Fake.
I feel fake too.
Fake.
How so?
I feel like she uses her position.
Wait, hang on before you say anything about Kate. I was specific about Bruce.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I asked that is
But I will
because
still always refer to her as her because that's who she is.
Thank
now.
you.
the
So-
reason that I was asking specifically about Bruce is I suspected before Bruce transitioned to Caitlyn that Bruce was, I thought gay, honestly. I thought he was a gay man living a duplicitous life. And then when the transition happened and that cover came out and it was like trending on Twitter, and I was like, fuck yes. I was so excited. She was so gorgeous on the cover. And then she opened her mouth. And then I was
And she
all,
was so offensive to her own community, which was so bothersome to me.
Yes.
I just and let me back up. I say she because maybe she just came out, but she has always been a her in her mind. It's just this is how she decided to finally explain it to everybody else. So while she says, yes, I was a husband, I was a father, I was all these things, I feel like she always identified as female.
I feel like none of those things are invalidated by her transitioning, and so many people tried to invalidate all of the things that she had done. I mean, from being a gold medalist and a father to a fucking, I mean, they had like a litter of kids. There was a lot of babies in that fucking equation. It's like how many ex-wives and how many kids? I mean, those swimmers worked well.
They did.
It's a fucking shame that shit isn't. I mean, he should have been because back in those days he was a he.
Snapshot in
He
time.
should have been using that sperm for donations, okay? Because it was primo sperm.
Yeah.
But now she has been incredibly offensive. But I think the offensive part of her is because of her privilege.
Yes.
I think that she has never had to be in the trenches. Think about how many trans people
she's
have
using her white male privilege.
exactly
Is what
to
Yes.
live
me.
her girl life.
And she thought that would launch her position with people who were closed-minded.
Right.
But it doesn't, because
doesn't.
the way she came across was so fake. It was inauthentic. Not that I was proud of her for being her authentic self, sorry. But I was not proud.
This is not the Gong Show. That was Brandy.
I'm about to keep playing guitar.
That's
but
you
she
date
was
yourself
so
there.
inauthentic about how she
I'm a
kept
old
trying
girl.
to go across to Trump, and then when finally she realized he was never going to respond, then she changed her position.
Now all of a
and
sudden
I'm like,
you realize these motherfuckers, even though you've been one of them all this time, they don't like your ass no more.
he never did. Trump never will. And that was the sad part, is that she really believed that her white privilege would promote her position, and it won't, because certain people that have closed minds, they're never going to change their minds. And he campaigned on that from the very beginning. He has campaigned against every group there is.
You
except for white men.
said the T word. So we
Sorry.
will be collecting $50 on your way out the door.
What's the T word?
45's name. We do not say that. It's
Oh,
like
sorry,
the
I didn't
Candyman.
know.
You say it 3 times and then they show up in the red hats on your doorstep. You
I thought
can't
that was
say it out
Beetlejuice
loud.
and Bloody
Oh, sorry,
Mary.
we gotta back up
Candyman.
and delete.
Bad shit comes if you say their name 3 times.
Gotta back up and delete. Sorry.
So what was your word association with it?
Initially, it was Republican.
Okay.
I completely agree with Brandy that Caitlyn Jenner has benefited greatly from her privilege. Example, access to health care related to transitioning, hormones, probably some voice therapy.
A gang of plastic surgery.
Like gang of plastic surgery, which all those things are very validating for somebody transitioning.
Correct.
Most people,
Don't have access.
including mostly people of color, don't have access to all of that shit.
Right.
And so when she came out, I initially had mixed feelings. She doesn't represent most trans people, I don't think.
She's still in that 1%.
She's still in that 1%. She's fucking rich.
Right.
Okay. Another small part of me was like, when a certain sect of society, in this case, we're talking male to female trans women, when there's diversity within that sect, it shows strength. Right? So not every male to female trans woman can be a liberal, can be a person of progressiveness, fight for the community, influence, impoverished, all those things. And so a part of me initially was like, this is probably a good thing, until she started
Talking.
Exactly. I agree.
Nobody put any stitches in them lips when she went in for all that fucking surgery.
Unfortunately.
They should have.
Yeah.
Listen, as soon as she started talking, I was like, no, just be the cover. Just be the cover. Just be pretty and be changed. Because Caitlyn is greatly protected. She's in her fucking house in Malibu. Look how much time she spent hiding before she came out. How many trans people have that ability to go disappear, come out brand new, like you probably imagined yourself in your mind, and then get to come out photographed by one of the greatest photographers in the world, and then retreat back to that bubble and not deal with any of the real life repercussions of that?
That was because of her white
Privilege.
That's not
privilege at
she's
time.
not the average trans person
She's
who
not.
Is a sex worker.
is a sex worker. That's huge.
The amount of trans people who are sex workers is terrifying. Terrifying. And then they're at risk for beatings. They're at risk for disease.
Especially black trans women.
Yes.
The murder.
What are we up to? 19 this year alone?
I think we're at something like that.
19 black trans women this year alone have been killed.
And every year it's fucking astronomical.
Yep.
It's gross.
Yep. Yeah, it's scary. Did you have a word you wanted to contribute with Caitlin?
I was going to say, I think...
Because we moved to Caitlin.
I think the question is why?
Why what?
On the 19 women. Why is it?
I'll tell you why.
Because it's okay now.
Black lives don't matter in this country.
Exactly. Especially now.
They don't.
They don't.
They're the easiest people. They're throwaway news. I use that term because most of the time it isn't even. That's why the hashtag say her name, say his name trends. Because most of the time it isn't even a blip in the evening news.
Yep.
And it should be. It absolutely should be.
Because it's a fucking huge problem every year after year.
I'm still torn between, respecting and feeling for the law enforcement because they do protect our community. But I don't think that Black Americans get equal treatment no matter what.
No.
I watched a
that's
video
the whole
of this.
Colin Kaepernick kneeling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole.
Oh, Bubbles.
Yeah, Bubbles.
Oh,
was on
Bubbles, you're so loud.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather she be loud than smelly.
Yeah.
Good point.
I pulled up this video at work because we were debating in our office. It was
Ooh,
funny.
that's an unsafe
We were
position.
debating in our office, and
That's
I pulled
tough.
up this video of this drunk white man wielding
Going
a
the fuck
gun
off.
in a park full of people, and there was like 26 police officers standing there watching him. And I'm like, where's the justice?
If you would have been any shade of brown, you'd have been shot.
Dead.
Questions asked after.
In 2 seconds. And that's what I thought. I thought that this would make my point. We argued for like 2 hours, and finally I was like, you know what?
There's this meme or this saying that goes around that says privilege isn't pie. We're not going to run out of pie. If we acknowledge that you do have privilege, which means that, frankly speaking, you're at the top of the pie serving slice, that doesn't mean pie is going to disappear. It just means everyone is entitled to a piece. Right now, your piece is bigger than the rest of everyone else's, and we're just trying to level out the servings. That's it. The pie ain't going nowhere. We can bake another pie.
The first step is just for cis white Christian Republican males to hetero to just fucking admit and acknowledge their privilege.
They never
won't
will.
even do that.
Never.
They won't because admitting it feels like a defeat, and they're gonna lose something.
And they're getting taken away. They're getting something taken away from them.
Yep. And like I said, we could just bake another pie, y'all.
Let's speak about privilege. So I'm female. I'm gay. I'm white. I don't look gay. So is
that a thing?
what does that
Is that a
mean?
thing? We're not
It
gay
is
enough?
a thing.
Really?
It is a thing. So
Well, she didn't say not gay enough.
Okay, so talk to me. Teach me.
in my community, I'm invisible. So
What?
But the good part about I don't want to say good part. So a lot of my female counterparts who have experienced terrible things happen to them because they quote unquote look gay. I have never had a negative experience because I am white. I look like a straight girl, and I have not had that problem.
Man, I tell you, you just saying that, you just acknowledging that gives me this great glimmer of hope. Because to sit down at a table of a very mixed group of us, and for you to say, I'm white, I don't look, I guess what you're saying is you don't look masculine, right? Is that what we're talking about? Okay,
exactly.
So
I just don't fit the profile of the traditional gay woman.
and
So
to
I come
acknowledge your
out-
privilege from that
Yes.
that's a huge moment right there.
Can you do
But
us all a
it's-
favor and go around and like lick people's doorknobs so they catch what
Exactly.
you got?
But you know what's funny is that the downside to that is I'm constantly coming out all the time to my bosses, to my friends.
Holy shit,
to
it's like
new people I
Groundhog
meet.
Day.
It's like
Wow.
I'm always having to come out. So that's the downside.
got
But
you,
I'd
babe.
rather have to do that than have to deal with some of the things that my friends have. They've had terrible things happen. And I am grateful to all the people that came before me that have made it easy for me to say, hey, I'm gay. And I have not had one person
Wow.
say boo to me. Not ever. Not once. I have not ever had anybody say anything negative to me about it.
Do you
I had
feel
one
that in
friend
the
that stopped
gay
being my
community?
friend, but she didn't say anything. She just kind of disappeared.
Do you feel that in the gay community at all? Do you
I
feel
feel
like
what?
you're not, I don't know,
Like accepted.
lesbian enough, if you will?
I have been told that before.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because you've had dick, or is it just because of your appearance?
I think it's both.
Interesting.
I think it's both.
So you're not a gold star lesbian, so
No.
they're upset with you.
No, it's not even that. It's just
Stephanie knows. Are you a gold star?
It is.
Hey.
It is just very much that, I was with the same man for
Get close to your mic.
a lot of years, and I stayed with him because I did love him.
And stop hitting things.
I know, sorry,
Stop swinging your arms
but
everywhere.
I talk
Make
with
you
my
sit on your
hands, yo.
hands.
You guys should have said.
Are you Italian?
But it was more so that it was just, this was okay. I could do this.
Right.
For my kids, I could do this.
Right.
Until I left.
We'll bleep it out. We'll bleep it out. We'll bleep it out. No worries.
Till I
We'll
left
put it
him
on.
and I kissed a girl and I was like,
And you liked it.
oh, we're
Fucking
all
Katy
about
Perry in
to.
that fucking
I know.
song.
You know the weird thing about that whole thing is, so you were married to a man. Everybody assumed you
Who
were
shall
straight.
stay nameless?
Everybody assumed you were straight. Everybody probably assumed he was straight. Just because you're in a relationship with somebody of
That's
who
the
identifies as the
thing.
opposite
It doesn't
sex
matter.
doesn't mean you're straight.
And that's the thing nowadays is you don't know. I
have a
always ask.
girlfriend.
now.
You currently have a girlfriend?
I do.
Oh.
I'm fucking deeply
But you've been
dogga
with
in love
men.
right now.
And the plot
What's that?
thickens.
But you're with men too. No, I mean, not right now, but
I mean, we're open, so
Yeah.
I haven't been with a man in quite a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, the opportunity is there. The desire is there as long as he's fucking
But what's
hot.
amazing to me now is when I see a couple, I don't assume somebody's sexuality anymore.
Thank you.
Like I used to. I used to just assume somebody was straight because they were with a girl.
Bitch, you woke.
And now I ask the question. I'm like, well, especially after you telling me that women were hitting you all the time. I
All
was
the
like,
time.
wait a second. I was like, when I was single, I was like, you're gonna be my wing girl. I'll swoop in on your leftovers, girl.
I get hit on by women left and right. It's funny because I got a new job, and there's a couple of girls in the group that like will just kind of mosey over to me and start chatting, and I'm like, nah.
What do you think it is?
I'm not sure because I don't. Me personally, I don't think I put off any kind of a vibe that I'm into women. I don't.
I never thought you were either,
Yeah.
but one of my friends
See?
did definitely think that you were gay.
Yeah.
She does have an "I hate dick" tattoo on her neck.
Oh, that was
Forgot
not
about
like giving
that.
away.
I'm trying to get that taken off, but
But
it's very
turn around
expensive.
on her back, she's got the bigger one on her back.
I love
Yeah,
penis.
she does. She's got a big old one on her back.
Yes, big fan of the dick. Yeah, it's since I was in. I remember in high school, one of our gay friends, a guy gay friend, was like, "So when you gonna get you a girl?" And I was like, "For what?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And like we're not understanding each other. And I was like, "What do I need a girl for?" And he's like, "Don't you want a girlfriend?" And I was like, "What the
have
fuck are
lots
you
of friends."
talking about?" It just didn't even click because I guess I never really the whole sexuality thing, like what people do behind closed doors is so personal. The best example for that I can give is what people watch for porn.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can be a totally straight person and you can watch some crazy porn, like some really fucking off the wall pornography.
Yeah.
That is not what you do in your bedroom. So fantasy versus what
Not
you
always.
do. Not always.
Not always, but
Fantasy versus what you do in the privacy of your own bedroom when the doors are shut and the curtains are drawn versus what you're doing in public when you're around, family, friends, people who, like it or not, their opinions matter. They're all very different things. So I don't just assume that this gay friend of mine only bangs chicks and I don't really pay a whole lot of attention because it's mostly not my business.
But mostly what I said that you said that I loved is you said what people do behind closed doors is irrelevant. And that's how I feel like I am in life. I'm like, I don't care
not
who you're
business.
with, how you're with, who, whatever.
Hit it again, I'm going to hit you in the ass. Not in the good way either.
Okay, I'm sitting on my hands.
There's another element to that too. Kind of following on that is, so like for me, most of the men that I've been with, they've always wanted me to present as female because they identify as straight. Most of them are married.
Hey,
And sneaking
there's a
the
lot of
fuck
that.
around.
It's a lot of that down low behavior. Tons
Can't
of it.
even count the number. No, I'm a hoe. I went through my hoe phase.
Of quote unquote straight married men you've been with.
Straight married men. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's a thing.
That is a big thing.
You're a girl and you're pretty, so therefore it doesn't count. I'm not gay or anything.
I'm like, I don't care.
The whole
Are you
dick thing
sucking my
doesn't
dick?
count, really? Wow. Interesting.
It's a whole masculine thing.
We've talked about fragile masculinity.
Fragile
it's a big
AF.
thing. Yes, it is a big thing. Most men have a strong tie with their masculinity and their virility and their strength and the way that they're presented to other men. It's really not for us chicks. It's for other dudes.
that's really interesting
for
because
each other.
I have a friend who was married to a man. This is a woman I'm talking about. Is married to a man. And what ended up happening was she always knew something was kind of weird
About herself?
about him.
Oh, okay.
Always knew something was kind of weird. And then come to find out, she found out he was seeing another guy. And so that caused them to divorce and all that stuff. And so then he ended up being with this other guy. And then I believe he no longer was with that guy and ended up getting married to another woman.
And that's the thing is,
So-
like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't understand how it is that people feel like, I remember this girl that I used to know, and she was married to a dude, and then they divorced, and then she ended up with a woman. And I remember the stuff I would hear him say about her and the really ugly words he'd call her. And I was like, you're not any less of a man because she decided that she wanted pussy. And he was like, I know.
It's irrelevant.
It has nothing to do with you.
It doesn't have to be black and white.
They
unless
don't
you're Alvin.
understand that. They really don't.
But that's the tie-in. That's the tie-in. It's like around his other friends, there was all the jokes. Oh, you didn't fuck her right. You didn't dick her down right. She had to
Yeah.
go get... And it was like, come the fuck on. Stop. This is so stupid. I don't get it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
People are so fucking dumb. If everybody just minded their business just a bit, we would grow so much.
And minded their own business, but also acknowledged their own business. Like, acknowledged what's going on. And if they have things about them that are untraditional and outside the box, which is probably 99% of the people
That's
in
right.
the fucking
Yes.
world.
That's right.
At least in this country. And they find they don't like it.
And that's what
At
I'm
least you
hoping
tried.
this conversation will do, to make you understand that literally the person to the left and the right of you, one of them can probably have mental illness, and the other one is probably identifying as something other than cis.
And it's okay.
And that is okay.
And what you're
they've
seeing right there in front of you is
and they've been
maybe-
doing that for years, and you've been fine with them, and you've been barbecuing with them, or you've been, hey, I noticed your trash can was out, I'm gonna pull it back. You've been doing all those things, and none of that changes by who they're fucking or what medication they have to take to stabilize their mood. We're all cool.
I agree.
So finishing up word association, I'm going to give you two other ones.
Uh-oh.
The word queer. That word has a lot of feelings
So
in the gay community.
For me, growing up, I felt like it had a negative connotation to
Absolutely.
it. It took me a long time to be able to say
Brandi, pretend you like the mic in your face.
growing up,
Stephanie's watching.
come here, baby.
Stephanie knows she don't like that mic in her face. I just said pretend.
I'm just gonna pretend it's a vagina and I'm gonna be good.
There
Hi,
you go.
y'all.
There you go. Damn, she really did too.
Growing up, it definitely had a negative connotation to it. It took me a long time to be able to say.
I
I'm
remember
queer.
lots of
Yeah.
I'm a Puerto Rican girl. Lots of Latino men in my family. He's fucking queer. He's the F word. I can't even bring myself to say that word. Those words were used in a very derogatory way.
Definitely.
By other
So-
family members?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have the kinds of uncles, and I tell you, I won't say the family member because this person is no longer here to defend themselves. But I was telling Alton yesterday that somebody who meant a lot to me went to his grave, not acknowledging his son who was a homosexual, and when the homosexual son died of complications from AIDS, everyone in the family came to this person saying, now's the time for you to come. Let him go. Forgive it. Move on. Let there be peace. Refused. And it put this huge chink in the armor around this person that I just adored and admired. I could not understand how he could let his son die and not look him in the eyes and say, I fucked up. I love you. Even if he didn't mean it in that moment.
Yeah.
Just to say, I screwed up and I love it. He wouldn't do it. And even when he passed away, it marked my relationship with him so much that I thought of that at the funeral. Yeah. It was like, I loved this person. And yet they were not just regular flawed, we're all flawed, but flawed in a way that changed my perception of them. It just really, really bothered me.
Do you know that at some time, I don't remember when that was, I was thinking to myself that, if one of my children came to me and told me that they were gay, I've asked myself that question. If that was to happen to me, how would I react? Right? And every time I ask myself that question, I'd say, it doesn't matter. I love you.
Right.
My love is unconditional for my children. It doesn't. I'm with you, ride or die.
It'll get to the point where you won't even have to think to yourself if that happened.
Well, this was years ago when when I would think this.
I gotcha.
But I mean, I guess a part of me was a little worried, that maybe that could happen. How would people look at me as a father, right?
Yes.
It hit me, Yeah. But then I realized I'm like, I really don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
It's out of your control.
Because no matter what, absolutely, no matter what, I'm gonna love my kids. If they were to come to me and say that, hey, Dad, I'm gay, or cool, I'm good. I'm good with it. As
Who
long
they
as
sleep with, whether they're straight or gay, won't matter to you.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or
it
how
doesn't
they
matter.
identify
It doesn't
their
matter.
gender.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it doesn't matter.
That's right.
You're still my kid.
I love them
Still
no
my
matter
kid.
what. No matter
Yeah.
what.
Good.
So,
Yeah, I'm actually really bitter that none of my kids are just straight up and down gay for me. Like, what the fuck? The universe has some sort of joke, right? Because my daughter's like childhood best friend, the three of them grew up with a little girl in the neighborhood that we lived in, and she was like, I actually call her fourth daughter. And, lived in the South, Bible Belt. When she came out, the family fractured. And I was like, why the fuck? Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to be so offensive to those of you who are straight and Christian and all those things. If there is a fucking God, why would a God allow a bunch of little gay kids to come out to people who hate them? Why didn't I have a litter of little gay children? Why didn't...
You do have a queer daughter.
I do, but I'm saying, like, I wanted all my babies to be gay. Because not because I care who they fuck. That's not the reason, but because I know so many gay kids who had such traumatic coming out situations to their family, and it just fucking breaks my heart that I know a friend of one of them now who witnessed, like, no, my parents can never know till the day they die I'm straight. And I'm
One
like,
of my best friends too.
that's terrible.
He's like, I could never tell, and it's a cultural thing. He will never.
That's another one.
He will never tell them. He was like, I'll marry a girl.
Man.
Eventually, she'll probably be gay. We're gonna pretend to be together so that all of our families can be
Wow.
happy
And
we're gonna
have
do
the
what we do on the
kids.
sides. And I was like, you are ruining your life for the opinions of others.
If you really want to have gay kids, you can probably put them in some sort of conversion therapy.
Oh,
God.
so funny that you're
Funny
saying
you
that.
say that.
Funny you say that. So I'm
Reverse.
dear friends.
Reverse conversion therapy.
Right? I love it.
Send them over to the Bay. Is that how you do it? Drop them in the middle of the Castro.
Portland's good.
Don't come back until you're wearing a boa and fucking a dance belt.
You can just borrow that from my closet, though. I have a really, really good friend who has seen some significant success as a singer, and he is he's gay. And I knew he was gay the moment I met him. He didn't know it yet. And
Why
later
doesn't
on,
anybody tell us though?
Huh?
Somebody could tell us though.
it's not my place to tell you. But I did know. And he was raised deep in the church, and he found a church in the city that he moved to pursue his music. And the person who was in charge of that church is his words, he is a gay man who the practicings of the Bible have kept him from giving into the sins of his homosexuality. And he has a book that's actually coming out here it's being distributed through Amazon and all these big giant, the Barnes and Nobles and all those things. And this friend of mine has had very strong opinions about this book coming out. So we're actually going to go and see him when his tour date comes across the Bay Area. And we're going to sit down with him and we're going to talk about religion and homosexuality. So we're going to take this to a whole different space, because that's a whole nother thing. That's why I asked you about the shame. I wasn't sure if the shame was associated with religion.
No.
Because that's man, you want to talk about a way to make a human being fucking hate themselves.
Yep.
Is to shove this fucking book in their face and tell them everything you believe, everything that you are made of is wrong.
Do it in the name of God.
Fuck that.
Gross.
Fuck that. I just don't subscribe to it.
Same.
Nope.
You didn't give me your association with the word queer. Did you have one?
Also, like Brandi, I grew up with a horrible association with that word. Like, that was something you never wanted to be.
And the
unless you
kids
wanted to
now
be,
are all queer.
I don't know about that. Unless you wanted to be outcasted and fucking ostracized from society, you do everything you can to not identify as that.
The very word by definition is weird, odd, right?
Right.
That's the definition of it. And so it was used in a derogatory form for so many years. So now seeing these younger kids embrace this word,
They do.
it's interesting. The first time I heard somebody be like, I'm a queer, I was like, what?
And it's very broad. It encompasses all kinds of cool shit.
Yes.
Right?
I'm kind of glad that the word it's not making this comparison, but there's another very offensive word that some people have claimed that they've taken it for themselves to be able to use it and remove the ugliness and take ownership of it.
You talking about the N-word?
And so, and so I do appreciate and admire that the new group of kids coming up in a world where there are words and there's language for non-binary and gender non-conforming and queer and all, that they're embracing these words and they're teaching people them. And the same daughter, my daughter brought home a friend who, when I first met her, I stuck out my hand to shake her hand, and she's like, "Oh, I identify as they, them, and I don't
They,
remember."
them, there.
There you go. And the first time it happened, I was like, I don't even know you. I just met you. Like, I was like annoyed that I had to, right? I was like, I literally, you didn't even give me your name. And now I have to remember. And so I had to like sit with myself and be like, what the fuck was that? Like, what was the knee jerk reaction of being like annoyed? And I remember having a conversation with her because I'm the first person that acknowledges when I'm being a dick. And so I was like, I didn't feel comfortable with that being the very first thing that you stuck your hand out and said to me. And I didn't even know your name yet. And then you're hitting me with all this. And then it was like, well, that's important to me. It's important to me that when you acknowledge me correctly. And I was all, duh.
It's in life trying to fight for who you are.
Right?
And you want people to, right off the bat, so there's no confusion. You can keep talking about it. But it's terrible. I went to a conference, actually, in Austin. And I had the same thing happen to me. And I was like looking around and I'm like, wait. I was like,
Bitch, we don't even know each other yet.
I didn't even ask your name yet.
Right?
She's all, you can call me they, them, there. And she's putting her hand out. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, but what's your name? Is what I said to her. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, I'm so used to trying to prove my place in life.
Right. Get
She
back in the
goes,
mic.
Yes.
I have to tell you that before
back
I
in the
even
mic.
give you my name.
Get back in the mic.
Because
There you go. All right.
I have to give you that before I even give you my name, because once I give you my name, you're going to make an assumption. And I was like, oh.
Assumption is huge.
And then I was like, I stood there and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, okay. And then Eve, everywhere we went, like I watched, and same thing, everywhere we went, they, them, there.
Well, look how
They,
open
them,
we
there.
all are sitting at this table, and we're all still people who have to learn.
And look at every time we go to any establishment that has bathrooms, locker rooms,
That assumption exists.
clothing sections, it's so fucking unnecessarily and harmfully binary. It's very men, women,
Right.
men, women.
Right.
We're constantly bombarded with this fucking binary.
I never even thought of you in a clothing store. You said it, and I was like, holy shit. Something I completely take for granted.
And those of us that identify as they, them, there,
Is that what you identify as?
I do.
You do.
I'm not. I know a lot of the younger generation is very, very picky about that, and good for them, and
Right.
they have
They
that
should.
right.
They
Yes,
absolutely should.
I'm not. I acknowledge that I sit here with my bald head and my Adam's apple and my facial hair and my deep voice, and people call me sir and mister and he, and
Not for long. I was referring to your text conversation.
and it's okay. I'm super not picky. It's just part of what I've accepted. I'm 45 years old, so whatever.
Yeah.
But we're constantly bombarded with all this bullshit. And so the fact that somebody wants to be, if they have a name badge, if they're at a convention or something, and or they'll have the email signature or something that says like pronouns, or the
Right.
Facebook profile.
Right. I actually
they,
just
them,
got an
there.
email with the pronouns thing recently.
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
it's
"Oh,
a thing.
shit."
And I'm like, good. This needs to happen, because the fact that we're so bombarded is very invalidating. You have to be male. You have to be female. You can't be anywhere in between, or
Right.
both, or neither. You just can't.
So then that moves into the space of going back to the conversation with my daughter's friend, they, them, there. I, before I was willing, because, I can't just say I was wrong. I'm going to admit it to you. I got to have a little moment of arguing in there. I was like,
Stubborn.
I did. I was
I'm
like,
so shocked.
I was like, okay, if you want to have people embrace where we're now moving to, maybe it shouldn't be the first thing you shove in their face. Maybe give them the opportunity to get to know you as nothing but the person that's standing in front of them. And this is what they said to me. But that's exactly what I am. And I was like, I'll shut the fuck up now.
And they feel like it's everything else is being shoved in their face.
Right.
So it's like,
But my point is I think that I'm a very open-minded person. I try my best to be inclusive of all people, and even I fuck up. And so to the people out there who are probably sitting here right now like, oh my God, fucking pronouns and emails now. And
Political correctness.
Right. Political
Yeah.
correctness. What I say to you is every day that you get up, you should be trying to be better. Right? Every day.
be best.
Be best.
He went
I
there.
was really trying
best
to
with
let that
mushrooms.
go past, but I couldn't. You should try to be best. You should strive to go to bed just a little bit better than you were when you woke up that day, right? I do those things not because I'm looking for some imaginary path to some imaginary pearly gates to some imaginary Papa Dios in the heaven. I do it because it's the right thing to do. I have no expectation of a golden ticket somewhere in heaven, hell, or purgatory.
Bye con Dios.
Yeah, whatever that thing is, I do it because I think it's the right thing to do. If every person every day embraced one thing that was out of the scope of what they understood or were comfortable with, and that doesn't mean that you have to be that you have to preach that you have to like put the fucking safety pin on your lapel. Do you remember when people were doing that? God,
Yes.
that was so annoying to me.
Man.
You don't have to do those things. It just means that the next time you're standing in line with somebody and you hear them talking about something that you might not understand, your response isn't to then take a picture of them, post them on Facebook, and mock them. Or if a man that you assume is a man is standing in the women's section of the store looking at clothes, you don't go, the men's section's over there. It's just
Yeah, don't do
dial
that.
back a little bit of your assumption. Dial back a little bit of what your normal is, because your normal is different than my normal is different than his normal. Trust me, my normal and his normal are two very different things. About 16 times a day, he looks at me like, what is wrong with you? It's different from your normal. It's different.
And nowadays, the normal range is so different. Like there's no,
Isn't it great?
There's no categories anymore. You could be over here.
Get back in the mic.
There's all these steps in between, and it's insane. So I'm so careful now.
And it can be fluid.
about that's what I'm talking about.
evolving,
it's like all
changing,
over.
yes.
Like you could be over here one day, over here another day, and that's the people that I love to learn from.
I
because
didn't
they're-
know that even with fuck, we'll have to bleep that out too.
Yep.
Said my kid's name on the goddamn podcast. Even with my daughter, I didn't understand that pronoun or that feeling could change daily. I did not get that because I'll tell you why. Because every day I get up and I'm a woman. There's no question in that. I get up. I'm a straight woman who likes penis every single fucking day of my life. So to wake up, right? To wake up and be like, man, I feel like a man today. I don't have that experience. I don't understand that.
Ghost of Shania.
I don't have that experience.
She
And
likes
so-
her penis Fridays too.
Oh, penis
But
Friday.
aren't there some days you're just
Penis-
like, I know I like penis, but I don't fucking want any penis right now because it's too much goddamn work.
Maybe not in that hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the hour
Fair.
could change,
Okay.
and I could be like, some dick feels like it would make things better. Listen, I am infinitely nicer to deal with when I'm getting dick down. Trust me.
That's so true. I ain't lying. We would come into the gym and stare at her, and she'd be like,
you don't need to know about my personal business.
"What is wrong with her?"
Yeah, you be all hinky-eyed when you haven't gotten broken off in a while. Yeah, it's frustrating.
She's staring at everybody. I'm like, "Damn, we're just here to work out." Come
Yeah,
on.
I am a person who needs it just kind of takes the fucking kink out of my neck.
Almost Friday, girl.
I think Bubbles made some bubbles.
She usually does. Last part of our conversation, so that we don't keep you guys here for 100 years. Mario Lopez. Anybody know about this?
I just saw the faces.
He did apologize. What was initially right out of his mouth was fucking wrong. And why was it there? It's like when the white person automatically resorts to the N-word right away. Why is that shit so readily on your tongue?
Wait, I don't know what happened.
You
Okay.
don't know.
okay.
Okay.
Explain.
So he was on someone's show. My understanding is the person whose show he was on is a horrible person.
Horrible Fox News person. Yes.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, let me just speak a little before you say this. I think he's
You think
Bi.
he's gay?
I think he's bi, for sure.
Okay. AC Slater, you think he likes
I
it?
do.
AC. Wow,
I
he went
do.
back.
He likes it in his
I do.
AC.
I absolutely have always thought that.
Interesting.
Since young, watching the show.
But we don't know.
We don't know.
And
No.
he is married to a woman, and he has children, and he is living his traditional cisgendered life.
So he must be straight.
he must be.
Which we know means nothing.
We are
right?
not assuming. Is my point here?
We're
But
not.
he was on this show where somehow the conversation came to a conversation about trans. And and of course, I don't have his direct quote in front of me, so I am just paraphrasing here. But he basically said that it was dangerous. For parents to allow a 3-year-old to be living as a trans.
Or identify as
trans.
A young child.
He was basically saying if you're that young. So I think the example he used was like his kid said he was a cowboy or something like that. And he's like, so because today he's a cowboy, tomorrow if he says he's a girl, I'm just going to automatically start saying he's a girl. And I'm like, well, yes.
Yes.
Because when your kid says that they're a fucking cowboy, what do? You buy them a fucking gun and a hat and you let them fucking run around, pew, 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 right? Do you not?
I like that. Pew, pew, pew.
I know when my fucking kid told me she was a fucking chef, I bought her ass a whole fucking kitchen. Because that's what the fuck you do. So if my daughter says to me, hey, I feel like a fucking boy today, I want to wear fucking boy clothes, then have her throw on the jeans and the fucking flannel and boy it the fuck up.
She's admirably passionate.
But I definitely feel
always.
like still to this day, I feel like parents shouldn't ever label anyone because we have this spectrum, right? You don't want to push them any
But if you don't acknowledge a spectrum,
direction,
which he doesn't,
you don't have to. Today you want to be a cowboy? No big deal. Don't make a big deal about it.
Right.
Tomorrow you want to be a
Put
girl?
your face in the mic.
No big deal.
Well,
Tomorrow you
how
want to be
come
a
we're going cowboy
mermaid?
versus
It
girl?
doesn't matter.
Why can't we go cowboy versus like ballerina?
Yes.
Like why is it
it's
girl?
Just, it just
that's
is
right.
Generic
That's
ass
true.
girl.
That's true.
Cowboy's
That's true.
a very specific boy.
It is.
It's
mostly
just-
because when the girl stuff happens, it's almost always like fucking princess, and that's really the options that girls
yeah.
get,
Yeah, I
right?
was just
Yeah.
saying mermaid, but
Some
My
days I
boys
want to
can
be
be
Woody. Some days I want to be
construction
Jesse. And some days I want to be Jesse with a Woody.
yeah, I just feel like we shouldn't push them in any one direction. I feel like that would alleviate a lot of pressure about having to pick a box,
Right.
Like and allow that
But you
gender
like picking a box.
fluidity.
like
I
licking
picked-
a
I was going to say
I
eating
already
the
picked
box.
a box, girl. I like my box. She's sitting on the
I'm
couch,
sorry.
girl.
I can't help myself, you guys.
All the Stephanie love over here is
Yes, we love
legit
Stephanie.
and glowing like a
So
fucking...
then, what does that make you feel about gender reveal parties?
I don't like those.
Did you see that
those.
the lady who essentially got identified on Twitter as the person who created the first one? Did you see her recent post?
No. Yes.
She said, plot twist. The little girl now wears suits every day.
No, she didn't.
Yep.
Real talk.
Oh,
I think
I
the little
love
girl's maybe
that.
9 to 11 years old, and yep, she dresses as a boy every
Yep.
day.
Awesome.
Isn't
was
that funny how the
awesome.
universe will
Yeah.
make you check yourself?
And she has evolved with it.
Yes,
Yep.
she absolutely has evolved with it. She does not subscribe to the idea of gender reveal. She thinks it's silly. AK, I just want you to know your dog's in the hallway, and I wonder if maybe she has to go. She's circling her favorite spot.
Okay.
Uh-oh. She's going to be hovering that booty.
Well, when she's got to go, she has some things, and if you can't see her, Stephanie, if you want to let her out of this door right here, she might have to go. So that was what he did. He basically made some kind of inflammatory statements about he called it dangerous, which to me was a really offensive thing to say, because I don't know if you heard. You said you were 5. Around 5-ish,
4 or 5,
and you were dressing in girls' clothes. I'm using air quotes here, right?
Knew something was up.
And my daughter was single digits when she was like, I don't want to dress that way. I want to dress this way. Single digits. So I think that there's a great amount of proof in that this is not a fucking choice. It is who you are inherently.
It is.
So for people to now move into a space to tell another parent that it's a dangerous thing to allow, I think it's more fucking dangerous not to hear your baby.
You want to hear a plot twist? I worked at a store when I was 16.
Get in the mic.
And there was these 2 ladies that I knew that were gay,
Okay.
and they
She's back.
worked in my office. And every time they would come near me, I would be so uncomfortable. And I look back now, and
Why were you uncomfortable?
I was scared they were gonna know.
They were gonna know. They were gonna out you.
gonna know.
Oh, that's a thing.
Oh
It
my
was-
god!
it was such
Get back
a
in the
big
mic
thing.
before Alton yells at us both.
It was such a big thing. I was
That's a
scared.
thing.
Like every time they came near me, I was petrified. I would avoid her. And they ended up making me report to her for a little while.
She worked with 2 women who were both gay, and she was like uncomfortable around them.
And they
she
were
was afraid they were
openly
gonna out her.
out.
They were gonna know.
I felt like they would know. So I would look
Spidey
at them.
sense.
I would
Yeah.
like look
Yeah.
down. I wouldn't look her in the eyes. I avoided her, and she ended up being my boss for like 3 or 4 months. And then I changed jobs to go.
She was like, anything
work
for
at
you
the
not to
front
identify
desk.
me.
I was literally petrified, and I was so mean to them.
Really?
Because
Brandi Rain.
I was trying
up
to.
that
That's not her
wall.
I
name, by
was
the way.
trying to protect myself. I literally was trying to protect myself. I was
I
like,
can see that.
Yeah.
and it wasn't that I knew that I was gay at the time.
It was just
It
that
was-
something
I
wasn't
had
it wasn't a solid answer
I
in
was
there.
I was petrified every time they were near me. I was like,
Wow.
oh my God. And then later on I realized I was like, that's
get it.
why. Because
That's why.
I knew that they would know.
Yep.
Yeah. And back then I didn't know that was a thing. But every time they came around, it was like this
Yeah.
thing. I was petrified. I was like,
For-
so my mom laughed at me later. She's like, do you remember so and so and so and so?
How
I'm
much you
"Yeah."
didn't
She goes-
like them?
She goes, you were so mean. I was like, I wasn't mean to them. I just avoided them. And she goes, girl, you were not always the nicest to work with. I was like, oh. So I felt so bad. So later on, we had a reunion. I apologized to them. They're all, girl, we knew. I'm like, I knew you did.
Damn. Damn. Yeah, go and like trying to go back to this idea that so many people think I'm gay. Believe me when I tell you that like there were a few years there where I encountered some really piece of shit men. If being gay was a fucking choice, believe me, I would have been on a whole motherfucking different boat. Yeah, your dog just dropped it again.
Damn.
Dropped it like it was hot, and it was hot.
Oh, it was hot. It was hot.
Man, what is? Oh, you know what? She ate and did not get yogurt tonight. That's what happened.
Oh, we have to
Yogurt?
put a little yogurt in her
we
food to keep her asshole.
Yeah, we put yogurt in her
balanced.
food,
Give her
and
some
it cut
probiotics.
that.
I was gonna say Jamie Lee Curtis is happening right now.
Yeah, basically, it,
You just aged yourself.
yeah, yeah. She doesn't look too hot now. Jamie Lee
I have
Curtis.
not seen her.
I don't agree.
Yeah, I used to think she
It's
was.
not like it was like
banging.
what was the other one? Jamie Gertz. Who was the one who came out of the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Oh,
Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates. Yes. Is she not age well? Oh,
We-
I'm gonna have to Google this.
Remember we talked about
We
that?
did,
we
we
had
did.
an aging
We talked about-
podcast.
we
and
talked about Kelly
certain people.
LeBrock.
Oh yeah, Kelly
Oh,
LeBrock.
Kelly LeBrock, man, was so hot. That woman was so fine. See, I can appreciate how fine a woman is. I can appreciate how fine a man is, and not want to fuck them. Kelly LeBrock was like that, like womanly, like
Yes.
big.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Wow.
I think it's different when you see a beautiful woman and then when you see a beautiful woman and you think about other things. That's the difference.
Oh, see, I'll see women and I'll be, oh my God, your skin is so beautiful. Your hair is gorgeous. Whatever.
Your eyebrows.
Well, if women are fine, I'll tell men that too.
You're
if I
clearly
think.
gay.
I know. I know. I keep wishing for these gay kids, and I'm the gay one.
Conversion, right? Reverse conversion. We got this.
No, we will not subscribe to any fucking conversion. Let people be what the fuck they are, God damn it.
Exactly.
Jesus. All right, so before we start winding it down, does anybody have anything they want to contribute? Just willy-nilly put it out there, and it's their conversation to have. The floor is open, kids.
I wanted to go back to the queer word association.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, so for years and years, I've always identified as, well, gender fluid. Now I look back and I'm like, that's what it is. For years and years, I was always,
I'm a male, but I'm a cross-dresser.
Were you a
and-
slow male?
I was a turtle. I used to identify as a turtle. Now I'm a person. But so there was always a sort of a mental list of people in my life that I never wanted to tell. They never needed to know because it would not benefit me. My dad was one of them.
Really?
He will probably never listen to this podcast.
Dad is still alive.
Dad is still alive.
Dad does not know.
Dad knows.
Oh.
Oh, Dad knows now.
Okay.
Because Dad and a whole other list of people that I would never tell that were on my never tell list. Do not call list. Doesn't exist anymore.
Do not call.
No, it doesn't.
Fuck. Damn likely every day. So I had this girlfriend last fall, and we broke up for unrelated reasons. It was just not a good fit. But she identified as bi. She had been married to a woman for like 10 years. They had a kid together, and she had another boyfriend. She had another girlfriend while we dated. And
She was busy.
She was.
Hi,
Her
girl.
dance card was fucking full. And I'm like, I'm full at 1. I'm poly, but I'm full at fucking 1. And she actually was the one who encouraged me to come out on social media as gender fluid and start posting pictures. I used to have 2 very separate Facebook accounts, one for boy, one for girl. I eventually merged those.
That's awesome.
So that's
thank
where Kat came.
Yes, that's where Kat came. So that's my female name, but if people call me that when I'm presenting as male, fucking that's cool. I'll answer to it. But she encouraged me. She said, I know you have this sort of list of people that you never want to tell, but think about it. When they die or when you die, do you want to look back and say that person never had the opportunity to love me as a queer person?
Listen.
So the word association, queer. That, if she served no other purpose in my life, it was that.
That
Right.
changes everything.
Boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, she's
Right.
fucking brilliant. And that is what prompted me to come out on Facebook. And you probably started seeing like, oh, what the fuck is Keith doing?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't.
No.
Because
He did not.
no, I didn't. Because I
You've known for a long time.
subscribe- Yeah, I have, but
It's those
Well, wait,
lashes.
hang on,
wait.
hang on. Let me
Hang
just
on.
clarify.
Real quick. Did you know he was gender fluid, or did you know he was bisexual? What did you know? I guess is the question.
I knew that you were bisexual.
Okay.
And it made no difference to me.
I never saw it. Yeah, never saw that
Just
it
a
did.
cool fucking person.
You used to offer me up the fucking double barrel.
Hey, that's right. That's right. Whiskey. Hey. Yeah. I mean, just a cool fucking person. I don't care. When I saw the pictures start to be posted, I was like, okay, cool.
One more thing.
I was like, okay, there it is. Right on.
it is.
I was like, right on. And when I saw that, I said to myself, I'm like, Keith is happy.
Yes.
Keith is being capped, and I have no issue with that.
Right.
I'm still gonna text him, say his Niners suck. I'm
That's Rams privilege right now because they just went to the fucking Super Bowl. So fuck the Rams.
Rams privilege.
Rams privilege.
I love that.
I cannot.
Sean McVay is a fucking god.
hey, but seriously, that's what it was. I'm.
That's all it
when,
was.
When I said,
stop hitting things,
Yeah, that was
Alton.
me. When I said that, it's the Italian in me, everything with my hands.
You've got Italian.
Yeah.
Have you been in an Italian?
I'm metallic.
Probably.
I'm metallic.
Sized.
Could you be Italian by penetration?
Ooh. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah, it's left again. Hey, let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back in.
Yeah. But anyways, my whole point was, as I saw you, I also looked at myself and that whole thing I discussed earlier about with my kids. It doesn't matter to me. If you are my friend, I don't care what you
Fuck.
Exactly. Or
Well, I hope you
Dress
care.
as?
I hope you care as a supportive person.
No, I don't care. Meaning, you can do what you want. I'm still gonna love you as my friend.
So yes, as a supportive person.
That's just,
Fist
Look at
bump
this
just happened.
moment
That's
happening
just how
here.
it is.
If I had a feeling, it would have twitched just now.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm telling the truth. I mean,
Right.
that's just how it is.
Yeah.
My friends are my friends. I am not that person that is the wishy-washy. I'm your friend when it's convenient kind of deal. That's not me. I never have been that way.
Right.
So however you choose to live your life, as long as it's not damaging to me, as in like, now I would have offense to you if you decided to develop a meth habit and you broke in my home and stole something.
Oh my
Now we
God.
got a problem.
Wow, that is
Yeah, that would be a problem.
that escalated quickly, didn't it?
Hey, I got to the
Do
point
you do
there.
meth?
I do not do math. I've never even fucking seen math.
We're coming back to get
That
our
is great.
tea.
That is great.
But that's
Yay
my
for
point.
no meth.
Yeah, but that's my point.
Yeah, your
you know?
teeth are too good for meth. Don't do that.
My friends, I love my friends, no matter how they identify. It doesn't
Let
matter
that
to
be
me.
a note to straight cisgender men that you can have friends, other male friends, who one day show up dressed as a woman, and that does not in any way, shape, or form take away from your own straightness and masculinity.
Why-
I promise
why
you.
The best thing
should
you
it?
can
I
do is be a
promise you.
friend.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
why should it?
Just be a fucking friend.
I did lose one friend, and you know this person.
Ooh.
One friend.
Sip that tea, y'all. Sip it.
Really?
I won't
We all
mention
got that
names.
one.
Okay.
Oh,
But,
no. Fucking tell him secretly. I want to know.
But you and I think you know him. At least you've met him at least once through my ex-wife. Coworker of ex-wife. He's a Jehovah's Witness.
Ooh, my dad is one of those. They don't fuck with that stuff.
He immediately unfriended me on Facebook. I noticed it, and I was like, I texted him, what's going on? What happened? Oh, I see you're posting pictures of yourself presenting as female or whatever the fuck how he ever said it. And I can't be associated with that lifestyle because of my church and blah, blah, blah.
Jesus.
Because we have a lot of...
Oh, Jesus.
He was my concert buddy. We went to so many concerts over the
Right.
years together and tagged each other in posts. And,
Yeah.
Wow.
And he wanted to just sever that tie.
Wow.
He also has his own...
I thought he was gay.
Look like
everybody thinks he's gay.
Yeah.
Because he's very...
That
I
might
thought
be
it was
the
gay.
issue.
He's got his own shit. Yeah, he's constantly doing things.
have you ever banged him?
Religion
No,
has
I just
nothing.
wondered.
never wanted to
I
because he
just
was
thought
always
I'd
too
throw it out there.
conflicted. No, good question.
Religion has nothing to do with it. Even my in-laws, when they found out, when my daughters told them, and they're very strong Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, really?
And they're very traditional Hispanic family. They called me to their house. And I was like, oh
Latinos
my God,
love
I'm about
Jehovah's
to get
Witnesses.
my ass beat. I was scared. I literally was scared. I showed up on the porch and I was like, okay, self, we're about to get our ass kicked by both of them, probably. But I walked in the door, and for the first time in 18 years, my father-in-law answered the door. And I was like, oh, God, here we go.
They
'Cause
really gonna fuck
he
me
ain't- He ain't never answered the door ever for as long as I known him. So I walked in the door, and they're like, sit down on the couch. And I sat down, and they're like, we love you no matter what.
Hey,
I bawled
That
my
is
ass
the
off.
exception to the rule because I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to make sure my father don't see this podcast because I don't want him to listen to it. My dad is a hardcore Jehovah's Witness, and my dad would tell you that he is an evolved man. He is a Christian. He loves all people, but let me tell you, there are words that he uses that tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
So he is deep in his religion, and his religion does not subscribe to you being able to love somebody of the same sex. They don't.
If I were to ever have guessed of anybody that would have, it would have been.
I think
my
that's
own.
fucking
They were
amazing that they
awesome.
offered you that. I think that's great. Amen to that.
It was.
See, look, sometimes I'm religious.
They're like, and be on your way, girl.
Do you have anything you wanted to contribute? Final thoughts, final declarations?
This is interesting.
You were so nervous.
I was really nervous.
I didn't even see that. You
Really?
were?
Before I came here, I was like, 1,000 questions.
Well, I think so. When you don't understand what podcasts are like, and you don't really know what you're setting yourself up to get into, it's really easy to. And I said, when you're done with it, you're gonna be like, my God, I made that such a big thing.
But also, I was like, what is this podcast going to be about? Because I don't feel like I'm a good representation of the lesbian community.
Why?
Why? Are you a fucking lesbian?
You're a part of it.
But
Do you eat
I,
pussy?
I have this advantage.
Do you eat pussy?
Yes.
I'm saying that you
Yes.
represent.
Hold on.
I'm saying
Yes,
that
yes,
you
yes,
are
yes.
a really good representation of lesbians.
Well, it's funny that you say that, but in the community, that's not the case.
I don't understand. Please explain it to the straight girl.
Feminine women are not.
Validated.
You're like you're in your own community, you're invisible. But you know what's weird? In our own community, we're so segregated. Like we want inclusion everywhere, but we separate ourselves into all these little groups. Like
We do.
this, even worse than the whole world in general. I'm telling you, we inside our own community, we are the worst to each other. I feel like we're like, you're not this enough.
I didn't
You
mean to
are
jump
in this
into that
box,
way.
and
That was rude
you
of me.
Are in these spots, and we try to put everybody in these boxes. And if you don't fit into our box, you're not included. And it's just interesting because our whole thing is we want to be included.
Stop hitting the
I knew you were gonna do that. I was watching you.
But it is. That's what we do.
I think that sucks because if the people who are the most marginalized aren't going to stand in fucking unity, then why are the assholes on the outside judging going to go in there and show y'all support?
But the thing is, I'm not looking for their approval. I just wasn't sure that I would be a good representation.
I think that
That's
you're
the
an
difference.
amazing representation of being a big old lesbian.
You're a representation of you.
I'm
and your
representing
experience.
me. I'm not representing my community.
Yeah.
There you go.
I represent all my communities.
The gay community.
I want to represent
She's
the
a
gay
lesbian.
community.
She's an undercover lesbian. Kidding.
The
Listen,
gay.
if I was a lesbian, believe it, it'd be just as loud as every other part
I
of my
know,
life.
right?
I wish I was a hoe community. The gay
I
reverse
wish I was a hoe.
conversion
God damn
therapy.
it. AK, you got anything you want to put into here? Final thoughts, contributions, questions?
No,
anything?
I thought it was a good conversation. You know, I've learned a few things. I don't think I'm any more open because
you are open.
I'm already open
Yeah.
with it. You know,
That sounds so slutty.
I've learned I've learned a few things about my friend Keith here, which it's honestly good to know.
It is.
I feel like I know him so much more better now.
Aw.
You know, and
Yeah.
I'm totally good. Brandi, she needs to always just talk in the mic. Other than that, I think she's great.
Sorry.
I told you just for a little while, just
I know,
pretend
you
you
gotta
like it in
put it
your
in your
face.
Yeah.
I mean, and there is a big disc in front of it.
I know.
I'm like,
And you know what? If
like a big boob.
we would have went and gotten like a little fleshlight and put it on the front there, she would have talked right into it just
Wow.
fine the whole time. Brandy would have had a lot of words with L's in them.
She's like, what do I do with this? I have nothing to put in there.
What's the sucking sound?
Stephanie, anything that you would like to contribute and pop in here with? Come to the mic if you do.
Pressure's on.
Come on, honey
Yeah,
bunny.
it's your opportunity.
Come
your
on, join us.
opportunity to speak.
Everybody say hi to Stephanie if she's coming. If she's coming.
Oh, she'll be coming tonight. Nope, I can't speak to that.
Don't fall asleep, bitch.
Yeah, just ask our neighbors.
She'll
Oh,
be coming
my.
down the mountain when she comes.
You live so high up. They hear you all the way from up
The
there.
whole neighbors were complaining. I got a text from my landlord. The whole 9 yards. It was not. I
Brandy
didn't show up.
Gertrude. By the way, that's not her name.
No.
I just call her that.
Lori gives people names, and so I mean, just random ass names.
She called me like by 9 middle names today. I was
yeah.
like, none of them are right, girl. You better keep guessing.
Hey, Kay's pop was here the other day, and I was like, Alton Latrell Sprewell. And his dad was like, the fuck?
Fucking Steve, don't choke me.
Yeah, I will choke a bitch. All right. Yeah.
So if I like you, you get a nickname.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There. And if I don't even refer to you by name, you know I don't like your ass.
Yeah, that's like my dad. He would assign some savage nicknames to family members.
Bubbles Michelangelo.
She's Bubbles. Go ahead, tell him her full name.
Cupcake, Champagne, Kirkland.
I sensed a little bit of judgment there, Kat.
She sounds like a hoe.
She sounds like a stripper, doesn't she?
And she's very sugary.
Oh man, but she can't fart like that on the clientele.
no, does not smell.
That'll run him off.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you both to Keith, Kat, whichever one we were going with today. I'm going to call you Keith right now, but I'm looking forward to the day I get to call you Kat. Miss Brandi, thank you. I appreciate you. I said this earlier and I want to say it again. Just because you're our friends, now you're my friend. We've gotten to know each other a little better. I don't like to just call motherfuckers my friend if I don't know nothing about them. You got to be cool and shit. But now that we're all friends, I just want to say that just because Alton and I have a podcast where we talk about hopefully real things, because sometimes we just talk about titty sweat. But when we talk about real heavy things, man, titty sweat is the worst. It's important that people understand that when we ask you to be on this, I don't want to ever exploit anything that the people that we love go through. It's important that we're having these conversations because we want other people to be in the same kind of headspace as we are, being open, owning that we obviously know not everything and we're still learning ourselves, even as people who are open-minded and accepting and loving and non-judgmental most of the time, because I'm kind of a judgmental bitch, but not for the things that you might think, that we're still learning, and that every day something new is going to get thrown at you. And instead of your reaction being like, fuck, you know what, today, maybe if you just kind of sat back and applied it to the human that's telling you it's relevant to them, we'd all just move into such a better space. There is a human attached to whatever the pronoun is or whatever the boxes that they're checking that they vote. There's still a human attached, and we seem to be forgetting that in the dawn of the internet days.
Agreed. And there's always going to be a sect of the population who will not ever embrace that
And they're usually the
Yes.
ones that are getting fucked up the ass
Oh.
by someone of the same gender.
secretly.
Exactly.
There is that thing, you know.
That is. There's a lot of that download shit.
It's a big deal.
What? Oh! Alton just yelled at me. So
I did not yell.
We've been
for the
fucking.
record.
Well, we've been fucking up means Lori's been fucking up. So one of the things that we agreed that we were gonna do whenever we talked about all the things that fucking suck, right? Because again, it's ironic. Everything fucking sucks, but look at how awesome
Don't
this
you think?
conversation just was, right? But we agreed that we would balance out all of the fucking sucking things with good things. So I've been slacking on my shit, but I've been saving up a stack of them. So Alton just put me on the spot and I'm having to have my shit loaded. Okay, so the good thing that happened the very last week of July. See, look at me in my fucking current events. Hey. I don't know if you guys use the Twitter. I've talked about the Twitter. The Twitter is really the
yeah.
best fucking space on the internet if you really want the really real and the fucking most heinous people on the planet, but mostly for fun to watch them.
And hilarious.
Yes.
Yes.
Brandi is one of my few friends that I've allowed to follow me on Twitter because I'm very well behaved on most of my other social medias. Twitter is where I'm.
Oh, I need to see this.
It's beautiful.
We will be talking.
Twitter is where I'm my most savage. But it was trending a couple of weeks ago about Area 51. Does everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So a shelter in. I want to make sure that I have where this is right. Shelter. Let me find it. A shelter in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, decided to use all of the Area 51 silliness to benefit the animals in their shelter.
Oh, cool.
So what they did, yes. So what they did was they decided to have a come storm the shelter day. And when they shared all of the animals on their social media, they dressed them up as little aliens.
Stop it. That's hella cute.
And really just very silly. I'll pass the phone around so you all can see the pictures. But they could not keep the fucking animals in there. Like people were just, they literally were storming the shelter and adopting all of these guys.
Nice.
So I'll pass the phone around. You guys can
I have
scroll.
to be honest, I just heard cum storm and then I shut off. I'm
boy.
sorry.
All right, you can look at the animals because she's sitting here in her cum storm.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
sidebarred on my lap.
But how awesome is it to
That's
be
hella cute.
so quick that you see something trending and you use it to do
So
better.
cool.
You use it to do well.
That's
and
cute.
so they literally cleaned out their shelter of all these little babies
Oh, nice.
because
Hopefully they don't come back.
come again with the come. That was me this time. Sorry. Look at the little babies. Look what they did to them with their little tin foil.
And they made
Oh my
tinfoil hats
God.
on them. Like they have antennas.
I
all
love
the
that so
babies.
much.
That's cute.
It makes me so happy. So that's your little good news of the week is that every now and again when shit goes left, because believe me, if you were around the Twitter the day that was trending, it took a fucking sharp shit. Okay, but to take something that's really trending on socials and moving at a silly speed and use it for good, right? Instead of jumping in on the ugliness, I'm all about that. So shout out to those guys over there in Oklahoma City. Hopefully more shelters will take advantage of some of the stupid shit that trends on socials and use it to benefit puppies and kitties who need some love. I got to make sure I show Keith the pictures of these guys.
Yeah.
So that's our good. That's the sandwich of the good on the end there.
That was so
Awesome.
cute.
That was
So Keith and
sandwiches.
Brandi, thank you.
Thank you
We
for
appreciate
having
you
me.
both so much.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Really fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think
You don't have to tell your parents or your children that you were on this podcast.
Right? I block
probably
my
will.
kids from all my social media. I always have.
I don't block my. Well, I don't let anyone be on the Twitter. I'm very selective about who follows me on Twitter. But everything else is free.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm much more behaved on the other socials, mostly because I have clients in those spaces and I try to be
there you go.
mindful of how they see me.
That's how I am on my Facebook. But on Instagram, it's free for all.
Man, Brandi will post.
I have seen
Brandi
the
will post
Instagram.
62 memes at a time. She'll just
Yeah.
fucking
Because I'm trying to
spam
clean
your
them.
top.
I'm trying to clean out my phone because I've been saving them for a minute, and I'm like, I need to get these off my phone.
Do so.
Take it out
Okay.
my storage.
Do either of you want to share any socials for the people listening in case they want to follow you and get to know you and learn about you? If
Not
you want,
yet.
if you want, you don't have to.
Maybe next time.
All right. Go for it.
I'm on
Share.
Facebook as Kat Lamar, KATLAMAR.
There you go.
Instagram, I think I'm hello, you have reached Kat.
I think yes. I
And-
believe that is it.
Twitter, I'm under Kat Tweetsies.
Oh, there you
Oh.
go.
There you
There you
go.
go. So if anybody
I love
heard
it.
anything that connected, if they want to get to know either of these two guys better, these two gals, whatever you choose to in this moment, go ahead and you can follow Kat. You can't follow Brandi yet. She might open up. She definitely open it up later, but she might open up a little more at a later date.
There we go.
Stephanie just said, hey.
Stephanie was like, "Time to go, host."
Kat,
right.
are you still doing music?
I am.
I've been checking out your Facebook, and I've seen on the keyboard doing
Yeah.
songs. You were in Maine,
I was in Maine for 8 days,
and
visiting family.
And did you do like a just off the cuff, jumped on little karaoke deal? I saw you
it
had a
wasn't
guitar.
karaoke. It was an open mic night.
Open mic night. That's right.
So
yeah.
my uncle was there, and he had a guitar, and he's like, "Why don't you play?" I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So I did a little Tom Petty, who's kind of my spirit animal.
Okay.
Love
Is that a thing
that.
still?
Yes.
Oh, hell yes.
I can't tell you my spirit animal. You'll all run away from me. We'll talk about that another time.
Heidi Fleiss.
I saw her.
Fucking Fleiss.
Wow, that's
I'm
dated.
kidding. I'm not kidding.
I saw her at the airport one time in Las
Man,
Vegas.
she looks like somebody. Did anybody ever watch the show, the movie Hocus Pocus?
No.
Really? You didn't watch the movie Hocus Pocus with fucking Bette Midler?
Nope.
Come on,
No.
gays.
We're fired, right? Oh my God.
So anyway, so in the movie The Three Witches, the way that they stayed youthful was to suck the life out of the children. And so the kids would then be like,
Kind of like the dark
all
crystal.
sucked all. It looks like somebody did that to Heidi Fleiss.
No.
She's all.
Yeah, she's suctioned
Damn it.
and plastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever see the dark crystal?
Probably when I was
is
little.
That's
Oh, Stephanie
anyways.
did. What is it?
Oh yeah.
Alton now hit. It's
Oh,
not just
my
brandy
God.
this time.
Yeah, I need more
Oh
liquor.
wait, is this the thing that y'all were talking about at Bacon and Butter?
Yes.
The show. I don't know any of
Yeah.
these things.
Never been there still.
What?
We got the hookup there.
Oh,
Don't say that out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've
want a
never been to that
breakfast.
fucking
Hey.
place. Always wanted to go.
You want to go Saturday?
Yes, I think I don't have my phone. My phone's far
All right,
away.
we'll talk about it after.
I have a calendar in my phone, and I live by it.
Bacon and butter is
You're an attorney, right?
love.
I am an attorney.
Some of my attorney friends have said that to me more than once. I have a calendar. I have several calendars.
Oh, I thought you said they said
They merge.
I'm an attorney.
No. They merge.
I
They
hope
merge.
don't fucking say that
work,
shit.
work calendar, personal calendar, kid calendar, like it, and then there's the color coded merging, and it's almost always my lawyer friends.
Girlfriend calendar. It's a thing.
Mine is just, hey, this is what we're doing on this date. Do it. Get ready for
49ers
it.
games calendar.
Yeah.
Mine was at work today, and she's like, I can't wait to see you today. I'm like, oh shit, I almost forgot.
That's literally how I reminded her about seeing her.
That's how I live my
She
life.
forgot
though.
me. No, that's how you've always lived your life. I love you, but you're very much a fly by
I
the
am-
seat of your pants kind of girl.
Where am I supposed to be today?
Jesus.
Do you have an iPhone?
No, I have an Android.
Oh, you're one of those.
Oh, this table is
Hey.
literally split in half.
I am.
Now I'm
The
pissed
queen.
off. All right. Why?
Now he's
Yeah.
offended.
Yeah.
He wasn't offended by anything else you did, but
Yo,
now he's offended.
What about you?
I'm a fucking iPhone girl.
iPhone.
All day. All day, every day.
Okay,
Ew.
do you feel like when you text somebody and your text comes up, it comes up as blue?
When it's blue.
When it's blue, you feel like, oh, okay, this person's in my corner. But when it's fucking green, you're like, ugh.
I don't.
Wait,
but
what does that mean?
So for iPhone people, if you have iMessage, then your texts come in blue. But for you Android folks, the texts come to us in green, so we know that you're not on iPhone iMessage.
We know that you're sort of like
Whatever.
Yeah.
Second-class citizens.
We can basically have any text.
Exactly.
Message,
we
look,
literally
or
just
chain.
started the next podcast conversation.
Yeah. I know.
Don't get me
Android versus
started.
Apple. Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. Share this podcast. Open up the conversation. Normalize humanity. Stop making everything have to fit in boxes. Stop making everything have to fit what fits your lifestyle, what fits you. What you are is not what your neighbor is. It's not what the person who lives in another country is. If we all just get to the fucking place where we just go, okay, that doesn't hurt me in any way, shape, or form. I'm good. We would all get so much further in the space that we live in, and hopefully we can change some things in, was that 2020?
Yeah.
And with that,
and we all know you're sucking dick in secret.
wait, me?
No, not you.
I was like, is it a secret?
The people that you're talking,
Happening it is.
the people that you're talking about.
That's right. That's right. There is an awful lot of that. There
Yeah.
is. So thank you guys so much. Share us on the socials. Join in the conversation. If you have anything that you'd like to contribute, we want to hear it. Please be respectful. If you join in the conversation and you are mean, ugly, hurtful, or disrespectful to anybody, particularly anyone who's been on this podcast,
I will find you and fuck you up.
real talk.
Liam Neeson.
Real talk. Real talk. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye. Bye-bye.